Hey, you guys, I'm Toni Covington, and this is Brains, Beauty, and Bank, episode 3. And we have the lovely Christina Bryant up in the house from Valdosta, Georgia.
Hey.
I had to throw that in there.
Yes.
How you doing, Mama?
I am doing well. I'm doing well.
And Happy New Year.
Same to you. Same to you.
How's the weather in Georgia?
Right now, it felt like a day that you could be at the beach. It was about 76 degrees here, but tomorrow it'll probably be back to the 40s.
You see what I got on. I'm mad as hell. It is 32 degrees out here in Maryland, and it feels below zero.
You have a set weather pattern there. Here in where I'm at, Georgia, in Augusta, it literally will be 30 degrees in the morning, and then by the evening, it literally is almost 70, 80 degrees.
Goodness gracious, I miss the sun. I'm ready for the sun. And it's really, honestly, it really is nice here in the summertime, so I can't really complain that much.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to bring Christina on because I'm a fangirl for years. Ever since I've been bodybuilding, I've been following Miss Christina Bryant, and she has definitely influenced me from afar. And I had the pleasure of actually meeting her in person this past Olympia, and it was a warm embrace that I didn't know I needed. And it was just only right and fitting that I brought you on here because I know from your past experiences following you, you do have a story to tell. So welcome.
Thank you for having me. I've been a fan too. I think it was a picture of you on social media. You had a red crop top sweatshirt and you was on wear with these big old legs. I said, who is this woman?
This woman. Who this woman?
Right. To meet you in person, your spirit, it just radiates and it matches everything about you, Toni.
Thank you. I'm such a true introvert. I don't like to be out and about. So when people call me the purple squirrel, because you don't like when you see those people,
right?
I don't like to be out. So I like to be at home. So I want to deep dive in and try to get a crack at who you are as a person, as an entrepreneur, talk about your new business ventures, you exploring out and venturing on your own and growing and thriving. So let me pose it like this. What was the catalyst for you transitioning from bodybuilding?
So I do want to be clear with this because this will be on public knowledge and public record. And I think given with the climate of bodybuilding over the past 3 years, with all the deaths and things of that nature, a lot of people tend to think, oh, it's her health. It really has nothing to do with my health, to be honest. One thing that I did take into account as a professional athlete in bodybuilding is I made sure to do right by my health. And when choices were given to me to advance in certain areas as a professional athlete, I declined, and I knew that enough is enough. I got to the Olympia. That day I went to the athletes meet and greet. I had a couple of treats for some of the athlete friends of mine, and the atmosphere and the energy in the room was just different. Something just literally came over me and was just like, this ain't it. This is not it. Why am I here? What am I doing? Fast forward, I get to my room. I literally changed my flight to get out there. That Sunday, I was supposed to leave.
She's like, I'm out of here.
Sunday afternoon at 12, and I changed it to Sunday at 12 a.m. in the morning because I knew that just was not where I was supposed to be.
It wasn't resonating anymore.
No more. I no longer was having fun, and I had to ask myself, why? What are you getting from this? Year after year, financially, this is not refilling your pocket, it's taken away from your pocket. And the math was mathing for me no more.
And for the audience, how long you been bodybuilding?
7 years. 7 years straight.
That's a long ass time.
Yes, 7 years straight. And then to get to the level that I was, I may not, let me be clear with this, I may not have been an Olympian, but I had the potential to, and I have beaten Olympians. So that wasn't I needed to seek out. It would have been cool to be at the Olympia, no doubt.
Right.
But it just no longer made sense.
Shoot, I was about to say shit. I remember when I hung it up in 2017 Nationals, and I trained for over a year for that show. I mean, you know, I'm thick bottom. Like it took a minute to get that off, and just to be told that I was too small, and I was in women's physique, and to hear, like, you know, being in that category, to hear that you're too small is almost like, who the fuck? Like who y'all to tell me what I'm too small?
And that's in the sport, right? So I competed in September in Savannah, my women's bodybuilding debut, after having been a women's physique competitor the whole entire time. I walk off stage and I'm being told, well, you look amazing, you look great, but you need to get bigger. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, like, okay, how can I say this? At what expense? At what expense? My health? My mental sanity? The way that I felt about myself? Don't get me wrong. I had no issue with walking around as a woman with muscle. You call me man, you can say whatever. I know how hard I worked and how I looked, and I received it. But at some point, you have to say to yourself, is this worth your peace, your money, and your health? And it no longer was mathing for me.
It wasn't worth my money. I get more reward, and quite frankly, I get more reward and more of a return being on the back end of the fitness industry. Let me ask you this question: what do you think when and this ain't to dog no type of judges, so don't come for me. What do you think we're being compared against? Because, you know, there's something different every year, or, you know, or within, like, who's ever winning, or who's ever getting the most spotlight, or who's ever getting the most endorsements, or who's ever getting the most spotlights. So what do you think we're being compared against?
They don't even know. They don't even know. I literally, I sent my email out to get my critiques from the judges last year. Got nothing. But, a coach friend of mine, she sent the same email out, and within 2 days, she got answers back from 4 judges. So people can read through the lines, take that for what it is, take it for whatever you want to. But that's what I dealt with.
Communication of it all.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I dealt with at the end of the sport. And it was just kind of like, if I can't even have a genuine conversation with you as an athlete, you know, why am I doing this? Am I not and to be a part of something?
And on top of that, it's not like you're not a known face, a known competitor, a national competitor.
Yeah. This is a choice. This is a hobby. No one owes us a win. I do want to be clear with that, because there's some people who feel like when they get off the stage, you know, that they're above losing. Nobody's above losing. And there are definitely some lessons that I learned out of this sport. There's consistencies and disciplines that I never would have had if I never would have been a part of bodybuilding. There's also networking opportunities and people that I have met in some of the places that I've traveled to because of bodybuilding. I'm truly grateful for that. But a known, underrated photographer in this industry, I'm talking about one of the best photographers in the game, told me this: Christina, you do not have to be on stage to have a great physique. And when he said that, it's like everything in me said, woosah. And I said, this is it. I made the right decision.
It's okay to let it go.
Yeah.
I think, quite frankly, I feel like I kind of manifested. I remember, and I won't mention his name out of respect, but I remember a guy I used to train with, and he was actually he actually taught me a lot of the stuff I grew to know. I didn't even know what a macro was, hand God. And he told me, he was like, you could be so much more than bodybuilding. And it was to his delivery. It was almost like, you know, it was his way of saying you too thick to go to nationals and so on and so forth. Like, you're too thick. like to cut all that weight. And to me, it was a challenge. I'm a true Libra. It was a challenge. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna show you. But in hindsight, he was right. Like I'm just too business minded of a person. And I looked at like, okay, well, how can I benefit this? And how can I, make this a percentage and so on and so forth. Like, yeah, it's people, this is some people's livelihood, and they thrive off of it, and good for them and kudos for them. But there is more to life than it.
Yeah. And at the level, I'm about to be real. A lot of people may not want to hear this, but if you are not in the top 3 in each category of this sport, and you are literally working a 9-to-5, you ain't making no money.
None. Nathan.
Period.
Nathan.
So, and people can say, oh, well, I get this endorsement or these sponsorships or anything like that. Well, how you paying your bills?
Yeah.
Because that ain't a lot of money to take care of a household. On top of it, don't talk about if you got kids and a whole nother spouse. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when you sit down and you evaluate your life, you got to figure out what's next. And for me, I had a transition. It was rough for me the end of December, leaving the Olympia, going into almost the end of January. I was in a weird place. But one thing I did invest in, if I can invest in a high dollar coach, I can invest in a high dollar training coach for my mental. And that's the biggest investment I did, was to sign up with my coach, Miss Dana. I didn't care
that.
It cost.
Plug her business.
Sage and Harmony Coaching. That's her all day.
Nice.
I couldn't put a value on what she has done to help me transition from living a life for 7 years to transition into something totally different in the professional corporate world.
Yeah. It's if I can tell you all the trials and tribulations I went through from bodybuilding and transitioning and thinking I'm a quit and doing it again because I didn't want to be looked at as a failure, and then realizing like, fuck what you heard, like y'all ain't paying none of these bills, and I'm up here paying $300 just for an entry fee, and that ain't even the suit and all and everything else that come with it. I remember I had 8 sponsors under my belt, and I was hated on a lot because I wasn't a pro, but people fail to realize I made a lot of those sponsors money. I made them some dollar bills, and I ain't get shit. But what they gave me was a platform to spread my face, spread this gap. and people know me from, I had a guy at Olympia. He had an old photo of me in his phone, and he pulled it up. It was like, remember this? And it was me at Olympia in 2016 at a booth for another sponsor. And it's just, that to me was, damn, you made it. Or that was my impact. Like that to me was my made it moment, right? Like, yo, he remembered my face. He remembered like the aura, whatever it is. So yeah, man, like to each his own and all of that. Like, do you regret moving on from it? I think I know your answer, but do you regret moving on?
I do not regret moving on. I will miss some of the relationships that I did have in the industry. It doesn't mean that they've gone away, but to sit backstage with some of the women that I did last year and just chop it up and have conversations and actually have fun and laugh.
Yeah.
No cattiness. I will say that in women's bodybuilding compared to any other category in the sport of bodybuilding. Women's bodybuilding is just different. It is. Older women in that industry. So, number one, they ain't got time for all of that. There's no ego in that. Mm-hmm. A lot of these women, they retire and they just doing it because that's what they love to do.
Yep. you triggering me over here.
I'm sorry.
I love it.
Yo, man, I have to, because I know like people think so many things, and I let people. You gonna think what you gonna think, but you gonna see this glow up. You gonna see that, and that's gonna be that.
And that's gonna be that. There's nothing else to say after that. What motivates your work in all aspects?
We are all here to help others. That is our rent price on this earth, is to help other people. And I know that the platform that I have has helped people, and I just want to continue doing that, but in other ways than just talking, actually being able to dedicate my time, being able to be available when girls call me and they're too scared to say things in the industry. They just need somewhere to vent. Like, I know that's my calling. I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing with my journey, helping the young women that I do help. So it's just a matter of me making sure that I stay on that path. That's what motivates me, is to see them grow just by the little bit of impact that I have put in their life.
Did you ever think you would be many others' safe haven?
No, I didn't realize that until I made a small hint when I first said I was leaving the sport. And then when I did the bigger announcement, my inbox was dinging from people that I never would have thought, you know. And I always let women know my inbox is a safe place, because we don't have that. And I'm keeping it so real. We do have 2 African-American women at the top of the sport. But outside of that, I do know that there isn't always a place for Black women. But we dominate.
We dominate. And it's not highlighted.
No, it's not.
Not to its best capabilities.
No.
And I don't know what that's about. Like, I don't know if it's because it doesn't fit the aesthetic, or it doesn't fit the marketing dollars.
So be it, but you got to give respect where respect is due. Like, 2 of the best women in this sport are African-American women, and they deserve their flowers. Whether they want to acknowledge it or not, whether they want to post about it or not, whether they want to talk about it or not, you can't take that away from them. And they go dominate for a long time. They are. I truly believe that. But I do think that at the judges' table, African-American women can only get so far. Their opinion is only allowed this much. When I did go to shows, when I was backstage, it was only a handful of women who looked like me that were working a show or that were judging a show. It does bother me, and I know this may ruffle a lot of feathers at the IBB when I say this, but there are more qualified women to be added to the representative part of the IFBB's home office. If you have a lot of African-American women competing in this sport, where are the women that look like us that can make decisions like they can?
Because I rarely see them, especially at these shows. Like, and that was being on the other side as a competitor, and now being on the other side as a business. So yeah, it's part of me be like, where they be pulling these girls from?
Yeah, and then for me to take a critique from someone who does not look like me, you don't know what it is to be in the gym trying to get fat off the inside of your booty cheeks at 10 o'clock at night, sweating. You done worked the 8-hour shift. You done did all this homework. And then you
trying to lose legs, but you gaining them.
You asking for your critiques. Oh, you need to be a little bit tighter. You need to be a little bit tighter. Well, how much more tighter do I need to be before I'm going to kill myself?
This ass ain't going nowhere. I knew that. I'm like, this is homegrown. Oh. It ain't going nowhere.
The thing about it is, too, what I want people to understand is I came from a different aspect of the sport. I was never an athlete. I was not a track runner. I was none of that. I just so happened to be a big girl who lost weight.
Yeah.
And to enter into a bodybuilding competition and was good at it.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
was. It was more so about my health. So I can circle back and say this transition into the Christina that I am is more geared towards health and wellness and looking good.
Because you've grown over the years. You've seen the smoke and mirrors. So you know what works for you and what doesn't work for you and what you don't want to represent.
That part.
And that's really all it boils down to. Quite frankly, I really applaud you for even being as transparent as you're being right now, because I do believe that there are a lot of women out there like you and I that have experienced this. I'm telling you, like when I first heard your story, I was telling my fiance, I'm like, yo, Christina just told me everything that I literally experienced as an emotion when I was going through my transition. Like she literally verbally said it and I was emotionally feeling it. And it was profound and it was rejuvenating, but it also made me realize like there are more women out there like that's afraid to say anything. I remember when I got my results back from my last show, and I was telling, he wasn't a coach, he was more so guiding me, but I was telling him what they said. And I had made a post and I was like, F them poop-put ass judges, like, to say, we all know I was going off.
Right.
And he's like, you should take that down. You don't want to blackball yourself. And I'm like,
from who?
All this money I done put in?
I got to walk around like that. The only thing that I ask is, so at the professional level and at the amateur level. So the amateur level, you are going to spend a lot of money. You are, period. Especially if you got your NPC card. Especially if you don't have sponsors and things of that nature that you and I both were blessed to have. But you are going to have to pay for hair, nails, makeup, NPC card, entry fees to shows, all those types of things. You're going to have to do that.
And it's gotten worse. It's gotten worse now. It's like as far as like the influencer stage and all that. Like you got influencers that's dominating more than the actual competitors.
Yes. And then you transition to the professional world. You still got to request to be able to get your pro card again. So not only earn it, but you have to pay. But that pay, I wonder what it goes to. I never understood what it went to. I'm open to hearing what it goes to, but I do think that should be a insurance premium or something paid for athletes.
Because there's been a lot of this.
Yes, that'll take care of our blood work. That'll take care of doctor visits or anything like that if we are getting ready to compete. If they know that this show.
Let me just put this disclaimer out there too, because me and Christina, we're not shitting on the IFBB or the NPC in that sense. We are merely stating facts of what we as competitors have experienced in this game and in this industry. And it's different for everyone. And we ain't salty. We ain't being negative. We've had a lot of fun moments in this game, but we also know it's a game.
Yeah. And I think that one thing too, I want people to understand is you have to make your journey your journey. You got to figure out how you can take your process, as I say with my therapist all the time, wash it, rinse it, and repeat it into something new. Yep. And that's what I try to do every year consistently, whether it be add on to my business as a bodybuilder, find new ways to be able to help other people and get them to understand the sport. Because a lot of people don't understand it. At one point in time, this was on ESPN. This was a big deal. So how do we?
I bet you a lot of people don't even know that.
No, a lot of people couldn't even tell you the first African-American female that was a Miss Olympia. They don't know. They just know. I literally have girls come to me and be like, all right, I'm going to do a show. And I'm like, but why? Why do you feel like to get healthy requires you to get on stage? Well, you did. I know I did it. And I'm going to tell you what I experienced and why I think that you should stick to what you're doing. Because once you jump out there, off that porch, baby, it's
let me also add this from a parental point of view. I lost a lot of time with my children. I'm not trying to sound any kind of way. I regret it, but I don't regret it because it was a learning experience. And it's not like I never had my children with me and a good chunk of the time. But I had a downright gruesome routine for 3 years.
Yeah.
Getting myself ready. 3 years. This ain't no overnight. Not to that competitive level. So I missed a lot of time with my kids. Thank God I have a support system. Thank God, I had daycare. Thank God I had the money to do such.
Yeah.
So like it's not a game. And I tell people all the time that have children, I'm like, if you got kids, it's got to be something you really want to do, because you are not going to spend a lot of time with your kids. And then there's the other flip side of that, where it's like, she always in the gym, she never with her kids. There are people out there like that.
I had to experience this, and I knew that this was something that was definitely difficult for me. Beginning of January, I get back from Vegas, training with a coach there. Get off the plane. My mother tells me I have something to tell you. Get home. Chrissy, I got cancer. I got breast cancer. So that was one thing in 2022 that I dealt with. Fast forward to June. I get a phone call from my brother. Mind you, I'm 12 weeks out from a show. Mentally, my switch, because in a pro, there's a switch inside of us 12 weeks out that goes boom. And we just literally have blinders on like a horse. We don't see nothing. We don't do nothing. We just focus. My dad passed, had a heart attack. My brother called, flying across the train tracks to get to my dad. That morning of my dad's funeral, I was at the gym. The night after the funeral, I was at the gym. I didn't know how to control my emotions as a Black woman. I knew how to compartmentalize. That is not healthy, because when I woke up September the 11th, after my show, the day after the show in Savannah, I felt the bottom of my world turn over. I no longer had a show to compete for. I no longer knew what I was doing, what was going on. I had the worst show prep blues ever. And a lot of people may not understand what show prep blues are, but it's just like this dark place that you feel like you're in after a show, because you're not.
You're like, now what?
Yeah. And I'm being honest when I say this. The PEDs affect your hormones.
Oh, yes.
So mentally, your headspace is all over the place. As a woman, 1 minute you're crying, the next minute you're cursing this person out, the next minute you don't want to be around people, and you're in the car listening to Drake crying. You don't.
You are.
Emotional roller coaster. So
yes.
For the women who take the time to wean off and stop taking whatever PEDs to get their health normalized, those are the emotions that you will go through. Whether you want to receive what I'm saying or not, these are
you're going to go through it.
It's going to happen. Even if you're not taking PEDs, when you are manipulating your food and your body fat percentage, your hormones are affected.
And if you're not cycling off your prep properly and going back into a normal diet,
yep. And it causes serious body dysmorphia, serious, because you for months are looking a certain way, and then here you are looking a totally different way because you've been eating a lot of carbs, the sodium, and the water, it comes back.
Girl, let me tell you, when I did my last show, I was $120, $120, soaking wet. And when I first started bodybuilding, I was a 44 double D. Of course, when I lost my weight, I got down to like a 36 D. And then when I prepped for as long as I did, I swear to God, handful of God, my shit was like a B. It was. I know it was. Yeah. And then when I cycled and, I started getting some weight back on me, people swear up and down I had a breast implant. I said, no, this is mine. This is all me. but some women don't balloon back.
Yeah, mine
Some women don't balloon back. And I was like, I got something back. I don't miss the 44 double D. Please believe I don't miss that. But that's hurt my back real bad. And I'm 5'1", so no. Let me stop.
Yeah, I get it. At least yours came back, baby. Mine's still out here like, hey, where's that?
No, they ain't like back, but I plan on having a baby next year, so we'll see. we'll see. So I do want to segue into your new venture and talk about your podcast.
Yes. So, totally different ball game. I may hint every now and again about bodybuilding in it, but more so, it is my transition from the sport into corporate America. I am an auditor for the hospital here, which I find very interesting because...
Can I get $5?
But I went to school, like this, a lot of people may not know this, but the whole time that I'm bodybuilding the past 3 years, I was in school working on my health administration degree. Then after that, graduated, I went back again for medical coding. So as a woman, I encourage any woman, if you feel like you are stuck or you are not somewhere you want to be, figure it out and fix it. Only you can change it. I wasn't happy. I knew that at one point I was going to stop bodybuilding. I needed to have a plan. And my plan was take your food, make sure that you got your ducks in a row with your finances, go ahead and boss up, make sure your credit right. Because when you hit out here in the world, you want to have it together. And by grace of God, I'm thankful that I did that for myself.
Yeah. Congratulations on getting your degree as well, because when I found out that you got it, I'm like, oh, she was doing a show, prepping for a show too. Goddamn. And then, you getting your professional career popping and going, I'm like, she's really doing a damn thing. Like, and I don't say that like I'm surprised. I say it like that is hard to juggle and to wear so many hats. And knowing that something can't fail in those three. It can't fail. And I say that going back to like me not spending time with my kids, I was juggling bodybuilding, a career, starting a business, and juggling motherhood. And something was failing, and it was time with my kids. It was something was going to fail. So it's like I had to realign, and I applaud you. Like you realigned what you wanted for yourself, knowing that this ain't going to be forever. What's going to happen afterwards? And a lot of people don't. Let me just say this. Y'all keep thinking all these people out here that's just bodybuilding, doing fitness, and taking photos every day. That ain't their everyday damn job.
No,
it's not. A good amount of them.
It's their
everyday job.
It's some bums out here. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Now, it's a couple of them out here bumming it out. How they do it, I don't know. That's them and their business.
That's their business.
I refuse to be one of them. Like. A lot of people.
I got generational curses to break over here. So
that part, like health insurance, life insurance, all these things, they do not take care of those things for you. You have to figure those things out. And I'd be doggone it if I'm gonna be the one having my family get a fish fry together to bury me.
No, she did take it to the fish fry.
No, and I don't want to be sitting there at Walmart at 65 greeting somebody saying, well, I was a great bodybuilder once in my lifetime.
Yo, I gotta say this. I gotta say this. In my experience, I have met older people that would carry around photos of their heyday of how they look doing bodybuilding, and I see them more at shows. It's a sad thing to watch. Yeah, but I'm gonna leave it alone.
To be honest with you, though, Tony, I do tell women all the time: make sure you got a backup plan. Make sure you have something to lean on, because there are a lot of people in this sport that's all they got, and they don't.
It really is.
That's literally all they have, and I just refuse to be one of those people. It's more to life. It's more to me than that. I am definitely smart enough and capable enough to really, like you said, break generational curses and have something established to help future generations.
Yeah. It's okay for it to be a hobby for as long as it is, but you also got to take like you said, you got to take your health into consideration. Like your knees we've seen some legends out here that's just like, they're not looking the best. What describes,
theirs comes from years of beating up their bodies over time. Now I'm
no different than a football player.
Huh?
I said, no different than a football player. Like
Oh,
they
there's
can't beat your body up.
younger people now coming into the industry and they want to do this and do that and do this and do that. And there's no breaks. How can you start at the top?
Mm-hmm.
You gonna go if you starting off with your protocols and the way you handling your career up here instead of starting and working up to that. There's nowhere else to go if you're up there.
Yeah.
You got to be patient with yourself.
That's what I've been noticing, like with a younger crowd. There's no patience. I'm like, well, how are you gonna give yourself a cap, or how are you gonna give yourself like the next pipeline to grow? Like, just give yourself baby steps. No different from running a business. Like, give. A lot of people think they can just, they call it there's the cannonball approach and there's the shotgun approach. And the cannonball is like you got to be one minded. Like, no, you have to be direct at your specific audience. But some people use the shotgun approach and they just go anywhere to see what sticks.
Yep. And to me, and this is just keeping it real, you can say it as a business owner who sponsors other athletes. When you see people do that, how as a sponsor does that look? They're going to this brand, that brand. That's the same as what you do. I'm pretty sure they come in, how do I become a sponsor? Hey, how do I do this? And then they doing the same thing to all these other people. Who are you loyal to?
Ooh, how do I answer that question? I try not to put no feelings behind it, quite frankly. Because I'm not going to stop somebody from getting a bag. I remember this one young man, he was sponsored by a high quality brand, and I was going to bring him on, and I did for like a short minute, then I let him go because he just didn't know what he wanted to do. He was all over the place and he wasn't putting in no work. So it's like, this ain't for you, for me. This ain't for you. Octane ain't for you. But in the middle of, I was helping him negotiate his contract with his other brand. So what happened was they wanted him to be exclusively to them because he was their moneymaker. And he was endorsing other brands that had nothing to do with their product. It was a totally different product. And I said, you have to realize, like, if they're going to try to make you exclusive, they need to be paying you exclusive dollars. I said, know how to work your sponsorship, know how to work your brand. And I said, you need to also realize, my friend, you ain't some known face either. Like, you got to know how to fight your battles. So, you thinking you hot shit, but there's somebody out there that's better than you. And trust me, they paying them the top dollar. They making sure they fly them out to the Olympias and your Arnolds. Trust and believe. Like, you're not that for them. And I had one guy, I thought we was cool. And like I said, I try not to put emotions towards it or put feeling towards it. And he did me a solid by coming on as a brand ambassador, because it was our first run or go around for it. But he just kept posting another brand stuff while tagging other brands, including mine. And I'm like, why you up here posting photos wearing this other brand stuff? You don't got nothing about my stuff up in there. And I ain't liking this. I ain't resharing it. And it's like, to your points, who are you loyal to? And you don't want to come off like that as a business owner, because it comes off like you hating and like you trying to stop somebody's bag, right? Yeah. Go get your bag wherever, however. But just know I'm also watching how you rep my brand. And if I don't like it to my liking, I'm letting you the fuck go. Period. So you're not helping my dollars in my pockets. And what we try to tell our ambassadors is like, the money is free. The money is out here for the taking. And it's easiest day to get. You spread your code, people use your code, you get the money. I don't sugarcoat shit. Like, and it's up to you to do what you want to do. I'm just not going to be out here giving you my inventory that I spend all my money on for free.
Yeah.
That's the other part of it too. I'm not going to be paying for all these entry fees, but you only brought in $24.
Right.
Like, there's a differentiating cost to that. So and I think also, not to go down the rabbit hole, but I do feel like people in these industries, whether it's bodybuilding, powerlifting, you name it. I think they do need to know the difference between a brand ambassador and a sponsored athlete. Like there is a significant difference.
Big difference.
And it's a big difference. And it's not to throw shade. It's not to belittle, but there is a stark difference. And you have to work your way up to be a sponsored athlete. You just do. I was always a brand ambassador. I was never anyone's sponsored athlete. But guess what? I was bringing them more dollars than the sponsored athlete.
Right.
So I was going to the shows, not the sponsored athletes. But also I got a pretty ass face. But stop. But I was there marketing dollars. I know what I bring to the table. Like I'm good at the marketing. So it's so many ways around this coin. It just really is. But coming off the other end of it now, I do have more respect when it comes to brand ambassadors because I was one. So I know how to treat my company's brand ambassadors, you know, and I will also, you know, let you go just as easy too, because you're not benefiting me and you're not benefiting yourself. And this is a small world.
That's right.
So, yeah, for sure. But segueing back into your podcast, what do you think is a significant challenge facing small businesses today?
A lot of people forget that getting out and talking to people face to face is an art. And so adding your feet to the pavement is necessary. Picking up the phone and making a phone call and asking the question. No matter how many no's you get, it's going to be a yes that comes along some way. And you use those yeses to catapult you to the next level. Your people are going to find you. My therapist says that all the time. Your people are going to find you. They're going to recognize your worth and they're going to help you get to where you need to be, whether it be personal or business.
I'm going to use that. Your people are going to find you.
They're going to find you.
I like that.
When you're operating in a self-aware space with love and light and intention, people realize that. And the people that see the value in you in some way, form, or fashion, and they want to genuinely help you, they are. But you have to get out. You have to show that you're doing the work. Now, I know that it's different now. We got digital campaigns, social media everywhere. But a lot of clientele is missed because people don't get out and go talk to people, go speak to people. When I go in somebody's city, I'm going to look for the gym. I want to go know who's there. I want to know what type of gym it is, and I'm going to train there. I'm going to pay. I'm going to buy their products, and I want to see. You know, that's what I look for.
Do you feel like there's a lack of human engagement?
Yes. Yes. When I go into
in this time frame,
I literally changed gyms because when I looked around, tripods everywhere. You know, nobody was training. You hogging the machine. Look, I'm trying to hit this rear pec deck, and you over here trying to get cute for the ground. Like, move out my way. You know, I'm not trying to put nobody down on trying to work it out. I was once that person. I was there. I get it. But it literally is a culture that has consumed what health and wellness looks like in a bad way.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I remember last week I was I go to the gym early in the morning because of my schedule. And this kid was in the gym. He was just sitting on his phone on the leg extension, just on his phone, wasn't leg extension and nothing. And he got up. He was gone for a minute. I'm like, okay, he done.
Right.
So get my reps in. This little motherfucker came back and had the audacity to be like, I'm still on here. I said, well, sweetie, you got up, so you're going to have to wait. You got up.
Plenty of time.
Like, and I said, you need to, and I said this to him, I said, you need to realize there's people waiting around.
They are. I've had people do this to me. If I'm in there working out or they ain't never seen somebody with muscle, whatever, they do this. I have went up and I have taken people's phones, thrown them across the gym. I have done that.
Wow.
But I have. It's rude. Just ask me to take a picture. Just ask.
Well, in their world, you're the purple squirrel.
I want to be the purple squirrel. Not in the middle of my workout. with mascara running on one and the eyelash hanging off for life on the other. Don't do that to me. You know, common courtesy. Can I take a picture?
Yes. It's so weird. Or you always get those people like, oh my God, I've never seen people in the gym that look like you. I'm like, because we get in and we get out. Right.
We hide.
we hide. We don't got time for all this stuff. What do you require succeeding in a business?
In my business or in businesses? When it comes to succeeding, you got to have perseverance. And like you said, you can't take it to heart. You got to lead with this. Because if you lead with this, you ain't going to have no money.
You sound like my fiance.
So real. Like you ain't going to have no money. You know, the type of people we are, Tony, we like to help people. We like to make sure people straight. We are givers. But we got to learn how to receive and take note when you just got to say no. That's been
a lesson of mine in 2022. I had to learn how to say no.
Yeah.
Because I was just as long as I've been in business with Just a Sip, Octane is a whole nother beast.
Yeah.
And I have seen so much success with Octane that I've ever seen with Just a Sip. And you talking about a girl that's been on billboards and Walmart and beauty supply stores. Like Octane has put me in doors that I've never thought I would be in. And the hardest thing that I've had to juggle with is saying no to people because of the amount of money that it took to jumpstart Octane. And I have a greater respect for money. I have a greater respect for my time. I have a greater respect for relationship building. Like I said in the beginning, I'm a severe introvert. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it. I don't like people. I'm not oh my God. I hate saying it because I'm in the business of people. Yeah. But I don't like people. I'm a very energy driven person. I'm a divine orderly type of person. I know when I'm being fed bullshit. I know when someone is just clinging on to me because they see something in me that they want, or they have bad intentions. So I think my safe haven is being within my safe zone, whether that's my kids, in my home or in the gym, in my office, creating. And I've learned that I don't have to be in the spotlight. My products speak for me. But that also filters down to me, being hurt so much from being in the spotlight. So in some sense, I became, I don't want to say I'm a recluse, but I became severely introverted because I've developed I don't give a fuck and I will fuck you over before you fuck me.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You don't want that, Tony.
Yeah.
So I'm the person that will, you think you fucking over me. I'm the person that knows the person that can get your IP address and shut your shit down.
Right. And I don't think your background, like, I wish, like, people knew, like, your background, like, oh, she's bad, man. It's a tough woman, okay? I'm talking to on this.
It's tough woman. But I don't let people know that side of me because it is dangerous. And on top of that, I got too much to lose.
Yeah.
I got too much to lose.
Think in that manner. It's a lot of people in this world who don't understand how much they have to lose until it's gone because they made a bad decision for not doing their research on business. They have not taken the time to get to know people, or they think they are above people. Those types of things are damaging to a business, period.
Oh, yes.
When I go out and with people, I make sure when I walk into their room, even when I'm working at the hospital, I walk right by the CEO of the hospital and say hello, and I walk just right by the janitor ladies that walk by me, and I say the same hello.
Oh, my God. I'm so happy you said that. There's this woman in the gym I go to. Every day I see her. She's the I like to say porter, not janitor, but she cleans and she does everything. I always say hi to her. She always waves at me. I wave back at her. And the day after New Year's, I went up to her and gave her a hug, and she was shocked as shit. And I was like, Happy New Year. And I knew that made her feel like she was not invisible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right. You up here cleaning up after these people. You ain't invisible, Mama. I see you. Happy New Year to you. Like, you make sure I have a sanitary gym.
Exactly.
Okay. And so, yeah, I mean, and that's just being human. Shit. Like, yeah. That's just being human. Girl, you make me segue into so many different places. I could talk to you for hours.
Nobody gets that from me when I was competing. Like, it was just straight bodybuilding all the time. Like, there's more to me than that. And I truly desire for the world to know that, and hope that it helps or inspires other women to know you can be a plethora of different things.
You can wear so many different hats. I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
And I'm not getting in your business, so don't come for me. But you said a word or a phrase, and it triggered me. They're wearing so many different hats. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like your personal life, dating, having girl talk or girlfriend time, or just, finding that significant other, do you feel like that was hard in the face of consistently being in the gym, not really having a lifestyle, having to be so strict? Do you feel like that affected? Let me rephrase. Do you feel like you lost time in the personal realm?
I don't feel like I lost time. I felt like that I developed the physical realm perfectly. But what failed was the mental and the emotional on the inside. With dating, I became very insecure because I wondered, okay, well, yeah, this is man in my email and my DM hyping me up. Really and truly, they just got a fetish. In the real world, when I'm out here meeting people, no shade, because I'm probably going to get backlash and this, whatever. But a good friend of mine that's a competitor said to me, Christina, you the finest thing walking when you in off season. When you are getting ready for a show, you are hard and masculine. And not only physically, but mentally you come off masculine. That will definitely scare a man away. And
don't you hate that?
Man for you is supposed to be the man for you. He going to accept you for you. Well, if I'm coming off masculine as hell, like this, rah, 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 what man wants to deal with that?
Unless he resonates with your personality and don't give a fuck. But no, I totally get it, because to me it was hard dating, and I will say this. No, this is my experience, but the guys that I was I don't want to say dated. I never dated someone in the bodybuilding world, but I definitely had guys that was interested in what have you. But I felt like they was the most insecure, so I didn't want to date a guy in the bodybuilding world, in the industry, because they just came off so insecure to me. No shade, y'all, but some of y'all be keep sweating over there.
It's real though. So what I've learned and what me studying to get to know myself, self-awareness. You operate from ego.
Oh, yeah.
Are in that type of industry. It's all about how you look. It's all about how you represent yourself with that. It's straight ego. Straight up.
Perceived in the public, all of that.
Yeah. And as you have on the inside, this little tremble. On the inside, it's not ego anymore. I didn't want to keep operating out of that space because I lost myself. I didn't know what it was. I'm just keep it real with you. Like, my man tells me this now, like, baby, even when you was like that, whatever, even now, I accept you for who you are and what you got going on. If you want to go back, you can go back. If not, I'll keep you just like you are. It was rare that I heard that. I do get more play being thick, Chrissy, than I did as I love it here. I love it here. I love it here. You know, I mean, to each their own. If you want to date a man who's into women with muscle and things of that nature, know what you're getting into with that.
Yeah.
Know who you're going to be dealing with that. Because sometimes you may just be their trophy. Some of these men ain't never had a woman as beautiful as you are a day in their life. And they excited.
I used to say to guys, like, you don't, you're not infatuated with me. You're infatuated with the thought of me. Because when you get to know me, you're like, oh my gosh, she has a brain. Oh my gosh, she talks about Pythagorean theorem and not macros. Can you put my thing in the charger for me?
But that says who they are as a person, as an individual. They don't know themselves enough. Because you could tell me this, when you had conversations with your fiance, getting to know him, you guys had real conversations. It wasn't none of that, oh, well, what's your favorite color? Well, what you like to do? Real ass conversations.
Yeah. But I think we had also, you know what I do when I work out. I know what you do when you work out. Okay, that's that. So, what else you got going on in life? Like, it was just so much more. And I was I had honestly, like, kind of like you, when it came to the insecurity part. I remember one time I was driving. This day is so significant to me. I was driving to work, and someone was telling me, like, why aren't you still married? I ain't gonna lie, part of me wanted to cuss their ass out. But then it dawned on me, I'm like, I'm 30, I was 31? I'm 37 now. And when they said that to me, I was like, damn, I'm 31. Why ain't I married? What am I attracting that is not, making me be put in that realm? And I'm not the like, oh, I can't wait to put on my wedding dress type of person. I've never been that person. I really didn't want to be married. I didn't want kids. But look at me now. So right. It's like, but Supreme put me in that mindset that, I do want to be married, and I do want to have that significant other, and just be focused in that, and know that, everything that I came across, in the dating world, it just prepared me for him. That's really all it did. That's really all it did. And there's no time frame for it. Yeah, I said I don't want no more kids, and he wants to have one as soon as we say I do. So I was like, I got my boy, I got my girl. I'm good. But I got 2 more questions for you, and then I'm gonna wrap this up because it is getting late, and I don't want to waste the rest of your night because I could talk to you for hours. How do you measure success? Everything that you have gone through, everything that you've endured, all of your accolades, your good, your bad, your pros, your cons. How does Christina now in 2023 measure success?
In 2023, I am having to figure out what success looks like for me. Because at one point, I thought it was just this illustrious bodybuilder career and this, that, and the third. I never was satisfied from that. Once again, when you operate from a space of ego, you can never satisfy it, ever. So I'm transitioning to operation of self-awareness and finding out what I really like, who I am, what I'm just going to say hell no to, and what I am going to kind of take my time and try to receive a little bit more. So for me, what success would look like is a predetermined thing for me.
Whenever I ask that question, people already have an answer of what they've gone through, and they will say, this is what I had measured my success by. But I resonate with your answer more. Is you can't, in a sense.
Because then you put yourself in a box. And I just don't want to be in a box, because I might pick up tomorrow and say, Tony, I'm moving to Colorado and I'm going to be a professional skier.
You just be like, go ahead, girl. Yeah. Can I talk to you?
You don't know, but I challenge them to not it's okay to set a goal. It's okay to reach that goal. But then what's next? Keep the ball going.
Yeah.
Don't be stagnant.
I like giving myself micro goals.
Yeah.
I love giving myself micro goals. And I remember my mom saying, "You're always doing so much. You just never celebrate in the moment." And I think for me, because I had been single for so long and the mom and the dad for so long, not making it an excuse, but I had no room to celebrate. I had to go to the next thing because the next thing needs to get done for me to get to my next accomplishment. Like, I'll celebrate seeing my kids do what they need to do or have what they have is the celebration for me. To each his own. Are you a risk taker?
I am very much so. Very much so. A lot more in 2023 financially. You got to spend money to make money. You got to believe it's going to work. It's going to work. It may not work in the manner that you feel it should, because the saying, tell God your plans and you want to see him laugh. That will happen. The things that I have achieved that I've wanted has been in the oddest of ways. I have prayed for something, gotten it, and not in the manner that I thought it would come, but it's happened. So just sitting back and believing in myself.
What would you tell 13 to 15-year-old Christina now?
Take your time. Appreciate the journey that you're on. There's a video on Instagram, and it's an older gentleman at a gas station telling people that a lot of people be in such a rush to get to their journey, and then when they get there, you ain't as happy as you were on the journey because you've been in such a rush. You miss the trees, the pretty art along the way. So learning to do that and be patient with myself, be real with myself, knowing who I am with the way that I grow as a human, allowing myself grace and realizing that I am not a machine. I am a human. I do know how to turn it on and turn it off. If I need to be a machine, I know how to turn it on. But I operate more so where I don't have to do that. I am a person who believes that you get what you put in. Whether it be time, whether it be finances, whether it be just anything, you get what you put in it. So that's the biggest risk I've taken in 2023 going in, is financially saying I'm going to do it. And when you think it's money, I tell you, when my daddy passed this earth, God bless his soul, he had been waiting for money from the government. 30 days prior to my dad's death, he got what he wanted. Didn't get to spend one of it.
That sucks.
It does. But I want people to understand that when I say this wholeheartedly, my dad's death changed me internally. It opened my eyes up to, we're going to all leave this earth. It's going to happen. And you ain't going to know when. You just need to be prepared, and you need to be well within your soul to know that you done did everything you could in life the right way and by people. It ain't going to be how much job money you made, what you did. It's going to be how you treated people.
Yes. Yes.
And it showed
I told my kids, and it wasn't to be funny. It was a laughing moment, but it was definitely meant for them to take a note from it. And I said, because I hate talking about death, especially about like family, like my mom or me or what have you. Like I don't like thinking about it or thinking, but I know it's going to happen. And I said to my kids, I said, my job is to make sure y'all ain't fighting over who burying mom. I think we see that a lot in the Black community. Not to say that any other community don't experience that, but I've seen it a lot in my community. And you wondering, do we got enough to bury mama, or are we cremating her? And I don't want my kids to even have to think about how they're about to put their mother to rest.
That's so important. I don't think people understand that. Like, when you leave,
have no clue.
planning a funeral, making sure you have everything. I'm just thankful that my dad, he served in the military, and they made sure that my dad was taken care of. But even if he hadn't served in the military, he made sure that he handled his affairs, and he made sure me and my brother were close enough. We might have tit for tat a little bit, but we were close enough to say, all right, I love you. Let's not do this. We got to get, because this is all we got left of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm my mother's only child. So for me, it's like, you know, part of me is like, who am I going to call when it happens? Type of thing. Who's going to be there to console me type of thing. But I think I put that to rest in myself a long time ago. It's more so the mental of, oh, she good. Put that woman in anything she want to be in.
God, you have and this is me being real with you. There is an anointing and a spirit on your life that you are a leader. He doesn't put you through the things that you have been through and give you the opportunities to do what you are doing if he didn't think you can handle it. And you handle it. You do. To see you successful and thrive in one business, and then you're opening and thriving in another business in a new industry. You know, that says a lot about who you are as a person.
You're going to make me tear.
For real. I'm just real. You know, game recognized game. It's in you. So you're going to always be okay.
Thank you. I don't, hearing it is like you say, how your boyfriend tells you things that is new to you. Like hearing that, though, you know, it comes from my family and my fiance, but the outside people, I think I don't allow it to come from other people. So hearing it, and I know it's coming from a genuine place, it feels good.
I definitely do. Every time you knew, like all that, I just genuinely happy to see people reaching their goals and succeed. And I wish there were more people like that in our sport, but I'm going to do what I can do, whatever it is. If it's got to be an Octane shirt, if I'm taking my Octane drinks all around that I purchased, I want people to know this. Okay.
When I got when we had the money to say, okay, now we can bring on ambassadors. It was a no-brainer, and to be like, oh, she says yes. She says yes. Because to me, even though I was in the competitive world, it's so different and it's so intimidating when you're on the other side, because now these people are looking at you like, how can your company benefit me? Or what can you do for me? And now you're looking at, you know, people such as yourself, like, this is what I can do. How can I negotiate, or how can I bring you? It's so intimidating because you look at these people as, you know, top notch, like they're untouchable. And for me, like I don't want to say you still are untouchable in that space. And it's like, oh God, I'm going in a whole different realm when I approach a Christina Bryant. And that's intimidating. It is.
When we reached out to each other, when we first initially started working with each other, what did I tell you? I said, I just want to support you because I see what you're doing.
You did. You did.
I do. I believe in your actions show it. You don't just talk it, you walk it. You do, and you walk it well.
I hope I am, because I don't know. You know, for me, it's like I said, it's not that I don't receive I can't even talk. You got me stuttering. It's not that I don't receive compliments. Well, I think I never know when it's coming from a genuine place, and I don't know if someone is just like
blowing smoke
or what have you. And this is a cruel game right here, Christina.
I believe it.
It's a cruel game right here.
All you can do that's all you can do is walk in your light. And what size shoe you wear?
I'm an 8.
You're an 8. Only imagine me trying to slide in an 8, and I'm an 8.5. Trying to walk in your shoe, and I want people to understand that. You see all these people, and you want, well, why does she get to do? Or what does she get to do? Why is what? and I will say this because she is my sister. If you are envious of anything that some of these top female competitors in the sports, the Miss Olympias do, I challenge you to walk a day in their life for one day.
Yep.
And you're going to be like, here you go.
I don't want this shit.
Well, give them people their flowers because it's not easy.
It's not. It's not.
Stuff. It ain't easy. Now, I will politely slide my shoe off to you and let you walk in it. But I know you stumble. So I don't even try to, I stay in my lane, I wear my size shoe, and I do what I do.
Yeah. I don't shit on people. I never talk about people, what have you. And when I hear, I will say this. I don't get a lot of hate in the Octane energy world like I was getting with Justice Sip. And I think because in that space, it was so saturated and it was just so catty. And I think I just needed to go back to what I thrived in. Don't get me wrong. Justice Sip is still well and thriving. I mean, it ain't going nowhere. I haven't really put a lot of attention into it, but it's still thriving, which is still amazing if I think about it. But Justice Sip won't go anywhere because Justice Sip gave the foundation to Octane. I mean, that's where my income from Justice Sip fueled Octane. So it's like that ain't never going nowhere.
Right.
I remember the first person that gave me my shot in the fitness industry with Justice Sip was Miss Tangela, Sid Gillian's mother. She gave me my first shot at sponsoring one of Sid's shows with Justice Sip. And that is what fueled me doing Octane. I'm like, shit, if I could do this in the fitness industry, imagine what I could do with a product that actually fits into the fitness industry. So shout out to Miss Tangela.
But that's who, when you see Sydney and you see Miss Tangela, you know why Sydney is so great. I don't think people
and why she's so successful.
Yes, she operates top tier. And if you ain't top tier, I'm sorry, baby, you will not match that. It's unmatched. And she is thriving because that's what she is supposed to be doing. And I want people to understand that you cannot duplicate it. You cannot mimic that. That is her God-given talent and right. Her family supports it. She's got the backing on it. You can't hate on that. You can't do nothing but respect it.
She did it right.
Yes.
She reinvested the money.
That's what you're supposed to do. Flip it.
We going too deep on these people, girl. You don't give it back to them, you flip it.
I can have respect for her, Skip, her dad, all of them. When you see them to an arena, they operate like a full-blown machine.
Yes.
And that's what untouchable. You know what support looks like. Go look at Sid Gillian and her family and her friends that she keep around her circle. That's what it's supposed to look like. Same thing with Andrea. That is what support is supposed to look like.
Yep. I actually get to interview her when she's here for the Victoria Imposing event. So I'm going to interview her there. And I can't wait to pick her brain because part of me is like, where'd she come from? But she's amazing. She's a goddamn powerhouse.
She is. She really is. And she genuinely is about helping other women. Like, that's genuinely what is in her heart.
Yeah.
No hate.
I like how she has no problem putting it out there of the support that she gives to other competitors. Like, that's what I like. To me, that's how she and many others, such as herself, changed the game. Like, y'all actually show the visual of supporting other competitors of the same race. And we don't get a lot. When I was competing, I ain't see a lot of that.
No, and it still ain't all there. She's the small few. She is the small few in that. She is the reason why I decided to go on stage for women's bodybuilding. She's the reason why that I applied for Wings to Strength ambassadorship program or sponsorship program. She is the true representative of what women's bodybuilding is. She is going to be Miss Olympia for a long time. Give her flowers, man. Respect her flowers.
Respect it. Respect it. Christina, you are my sister from afar, my best friend in my head, and we have to talk more because you are so intriguing. And I'm gonna throw it back to you. You are just as magical. You radiate an energy that is, and not just saying this to sound so cliche or biased, but it's just there. Like she's you got, if you see her in person and embrace her in person, she's magical. And she has so much knowledge and so fucking smart. Like the girl is fucking smart.
I received that.
Like I don't say that a lot. Like no, she's smart. Like she encyclopedia smart. Like she's smart.
Lisa, I receive it wholeheartedly. I am grateful for the opportunity that I have to transition into my corporate job now, because when auditing is all about following the money trail, I've used that in my everyday life, following with plenty of questions that's going to give me the answer.
Okay.
You know, okay. Life often. I tell people that audit your life often. If I had to give you audit your life often.
Put that on a shirt.
Yep.
Shit. Audit your life often. I like that. So tell the people where they can find all your social handles and also your podcast.
So my podcast will be coming up on YouTube. It will be introduced on Women's Month, which is in March. So get ready. We're filming it behind the scenes now.
Nice.
I'll be focusing more so on health and wellness and what it is to be your own transformation into what it is that you want to be, what it requires and what it takes. You can find me on Instagram at the Pretty Lifter.
Okay.
LIFTTA. Also on Facebook, which is Christina the Pretty Lifter Bryant on Facebook.
Nice. And let me ask you just one question. Will you have guests on your podcast?
I will.
Or have people call in?
I will. You're going to be one of them, so get ready.
Ooh. And let me just say this. Every time I post you, I be having men in my goddamn DMs hearting, smiling face, hard face. One guy in particular, I'm going to call him out, Cow Music. Get out my DMs flirting on Christina.
Thank you for the love.
She got a man.
Okay. Listen, I want some problems.
I'm just teasing. No, they be eating it up. I'm like, Supreme looked at the DMs. He was like, who are these men? I was like, they for Christina, they for me.
Like, I want them to understand that now. When you entering into that arena, that's what come. That's what come with it.
That's what come with it. Christina, as always, it's just been a pleasure. I'm so happy that you came on, and you are brains, beauty, and bank.
You.
All right. Speak to you later.
Bye, love.